As silver stackers, we've all been in the game for various amounts of time, whether you're new to the madness or a seasoned stacking veteran. But one thing many of us can relate to is the fact that we've most likely made some mistakes in our stacking journey over the years, which, in retrospect, wish we wouldn't have made. Personally, I've made a few myself, but in today's video, I'm going to go over my top 3 regrets that I have the most regret over. Stay tuned. YouTube, what's shaking? Welcome to another episode of the Silver and Gold Stack Attack. I'd like to take a second to wish you all an amazing 2024. Personally, I barely made it to midnight on New Year's Eve. That's what happens when you get up in the years. But anyway, thanks so much for being here to check out the new video today, and also for all the amazing support you guys have given the channel. And of course, that translates into all of you being part of the best damn community on YouTube, without a doubt. You've all helped this little channel grow, and it means more than you know. So today I'm going to go over my top 3 silver stacking regrets. And if you've been stacking for a while, there's a good chance you may have experienced one of these yourself. That being said, you know it. Let's roll it.
You're going to regret this.
Alright, regret number 3. I'm going to work my way down to number 1. And this is collectible and slab silver. Now to me, this is one of the worst traps you can fall into as a stacker. It's a crossroads that I came to where I kind of... for lack of better reasons, got bored with stacking silver. So I found myself branching out into limited edition and collectible stuff like you see here. And here's the deal with this. Unless silver price goes crazy, there's a decent chance you'll actually lose money on stuff like this. I mean, let's face it, there aren't many reasons to have slab silver eagles that are minted in the millions or limited edition Star Trek or Star Wars silver or gold unless you're a dedicated collector of stuff like that. Now, again, I really had no reason to venture into this overpriced sector, so sometimes I have regrets. Now, that being said, one thing we have to remember when it comes to limited or licensed silver and gold is this. If we go through an SHTF scenario, it's not going to matter what your silver says on it. If it says Atmex, has a Walking Liberty, a Maple Leaf, or even freaking Darth Vader, at that point in time, an ounce of silver will be just that, an ounce of silver. And your premiums, they just flew out the window.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Enough of this.
Now, granted, that's an extreme scenario, but it's something to keep in the back of your mind if you're going to get into it. And I've seen plenty of high-dollar limited edition stuff go for well below what the original buyer paid for it. And it's just not a smart way to stack if your sole purpose in this game is to accumulate silver weight. Now, all that, I just want to add this. Because I do tend to get bored with the same old bars, same old bullion. I like to kind of reward myself with something every now and then, like this stuff here, just to break up the monotony. And to me, there's nothing wrong with adding a collectible piece here and there, if it appeals to you. Yeah, I'm stacking weight, but I also like to have a little fun with it every now and then. It kind of keeps things interesting. Regret number 2. I wish I'd bought more 90% silver back in the day. Seriously, I remember when I first started stacking that 90% silver was dirt cheap. And looking back, I feel like it was by far one of the most underrated values for silver out there. And for those of you who stack it, you know the driving force behind it that makes us buy it up. First, it's real coinage from a bygone era where something intrinsic actually backed our money, whether it was a 1964 and below silver coin or pre-33 gold coins. But as for 90% silver, well, the supply was absolutely decimated during the melt years, so while it's hardly rare, it's not all that common, but it's not rare yet. But when it's gone forever.
This can only end in tears.
Now, I also consider 90% silver the ultimate in fractional silver. The only downfall is the fact that not everyone's aware of the value of a 1964 dime. They see a Roosevelt on there and they have absolutely no clue that it's worth more than 10 cents. But all that aside, I love the history of 90%. I love how it sounds when you're clinking a pile of it together. And I love how it still holds a denominational value, even if silver were ever to drop down to being worthless. And granted, it's not a lot, but at least the stuff will always hold a face value, if nothing else. And looking back to the what the prices were back when I started, I absolutely do regret not seeing it as a steal of a value. Shame on me, because now I'm paying elevated prices for something I could have had cheaper if I'd only had the foresight to recognize the value of it. Live and learn, right? All right, regret number 1, too attached to the stack. Sounds crazy, but it does happen. All right, here's the reality that silver stackers need to face, and that is, don't become attached to your stack. Now, I keep track of my dollar cost average, and I adjust it every time I add silver or gold to the pile on my spreadsheet, so I always know where I am with that. But let's go back to early 2020. It was a really weird year for silver, and when it dropped to a low of around $11.74 an ounce, I pounced.
When a deal like this turns up, you get on it and you ride it till it's over. You don't ask it for a vacation.
And I easily added over 500 ounces of silver to the stack in one shot. Now, in hindsight, I should have added more, but I had other things going on that demanded my quote-unquote disposable income. Fast forward to later that year, 2020, and lo and behold, silver jumped up to around $29.37 an ounce, around that area. And a conundrum was created. I agonized over selling or holding, and ultimately decided to hold, since I've always said my silver was for down the road. I wasn't really in it for profit at that time. I still am not. And it wasn't like I was going to short it like a stock. I had and still have a very clear vision of what my silver was for, and I stuck to it. Now, in reality, I chose poorly. I chose poorly. Looking back, at the very least, I should have taken those 500 ounces I just bought earlier that year and sold it. Even if just at spot price alone, I was looking at a profit of $17.63 an ounce. And if you multiply that times 500 ounces, you're coming up with a pretty nice return of $8,815, give or take. That was a deal I'd do 10 times out of 10 if I could go back in time. I should have just sold the 500 ounces, taken the profits, maybe turned them into gold, and then built up my silver stack again over time. Because only a year later, around fall 2021, silver dropped down again under $18. And that was another great time to stock up and get the totals up. Now, granted, $18 an ounce, that's a joke compared to $11.74, but it's one way you can play the game. And in the end, like a bunch of us, I wanted to see if silver could break that $30 resistance for the first time since around, I believe it was 2013, if I recall, and see if it would continue to go up from there. That, and I was attached to my stack. But that's silver for you. If we knew what it was going to do, we'd all profit from it. But that volatility and manipulation definitely keeps us on our toes. All right. There you have it, guys. Now, I do have one more bonus regret, and that's gold. As in, I wish I'd bought more of it back in the day. Again, that foresight thing. And now it costs a lot more to buy it. Anyway, I'm curious to see if any of my regrets match yours, and if you have some of your own. Be sure to comment down below and let me know what your thoughts are. I do have a blast going through them, so make sure you sound off. And that's going to wrap it up for this episode of the Silver and Gold Stack Attack. And if you made it this far, well, kudos to you. I'll definitely catch up with you in the next episode, but in the meantime, you know what's up.
What do you want to do with your life?
Damn right. Get stacked. Stay safe and be well, everyone. I am out of here. Peace, folks.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.